Welcome to the YouTube channel Plugin Police and Too Many Plugins. Today we're going to talk about DJs and why DJs are illusionists. A DJ is an illusionist is because a DJ does exactly the same as an illusionist does. It lets you have the perception that you're listening to one thing, but you're actually listening to things together. So take an illusionist or a clown who has has two balls in front of you and makes one ball disappear. It's that kind of phenomenon. Or grabs two balls, smacks them together, and they become one ball. So a DJ is an illusionist. The way a DJ gets over there doesn't really matter. He can use quick start and stop points to give the public the impression they are listening to the same thing, but it's an illusion. You're listening to two things at the same time, or by jumping quickly from one to the other, like many dub and reggae DJs do, and radio stations, or by blending stuff together, or in the same pitch and BPM, or using half of the BPM to so split the BPM in half and mix one track with 60 and another track with 120 BPMs, and give you the impression that you're listening to two tracks actually at the same speed, while you are not. You know, DJs are also clowns, and I know I'm going to probably get a little bit of backlash of that, but believe me, DJs are clowns. As quickly as you as a DJ can have a wow moment from the crowd where they're praising you and they love what you do, you can have a moment when they boo you and they stick their middle finger up to you, basically, because what many people, DJs, especially beginning DJs, don't understand is that you are there just to please the crowd. You're not there to please yourself. And also DJs who say, yeah, I just want to play only the music that I like, if that music that you only like is not what the crowd likes, then you can be the best DJ in the world and make the best mixes in the world with the best timings. It doesn't matter because it won't resonate with the audience. So in that sense, you're also a little bit of a clown, because as quickly as you can stand up here with your arms in the air in a Jesus pose, you can also very quickly have that what you play doesn't resonate with the people, and so they will boo you and they will basically cancel you. So DJ is always presented as some sort of fantastic thing to be, but it's really, really not, because you're not there to please yourself. You're not there to play the music you want to play. You're playing the music they want to hear, and that's just the reality of it. And I'll give a good example of that also, about artists in general a little bit. Many people probably don't know this, but Adolf Hitler was actually an artist, and he went to the university, I think it was in Vienna, to the art university. And the art critics in that time, and even today, look at his art and say his art is not bad at all. But it doesn't resonate with people, so he uses very good techniques, and he actually is quite good in creating art, and he wanted to be an artist, but his art, just what he produces, just doesn't resonate with people. But when art critics look at his work and say, yes, his work is actually good, but people don't connect with it, you know, and that's a little bit also with a vibe as a DJ and the music that you play. It's of course the music that you play people need to like, and the vibe that the story that you're trying to tell with your music also needs to resonate with people. You can also play a bunch of tracks together that people like the individual tracks, but the way you play them together also doesn't resonate with people, you know. And art is a little bit like that also. And Adolf Hitler, for example, was himself a failure in that, because he really wanted to be an artist, and he failed in that. And after that, he went to another direction, and it turned out that many years later he tried to conquer the world. So, you know, of course, the emotional state he was in as a failed artist brought him to another extreme. Artists are many times very extreme individuals. You can look to many artists from the past that genius and insanity are very close related, you know, especially in how do you call it, being eccentric, and also being a little bit how do you call that? A little bit narcissistic, a little bit self-centered. Many artists are, and maybe that's also a little bit something you need to be really a good artist. But he was a failure in that because he actually produced okay, a good, technically good art, but it didn't resonate with people, you know. And the DJ is exactly the same story, and you should never forget that you need to play what they want to hear, not what you want to hear, you know. That's one of the biggest mistakes I see many people making, that to go into the world of DJing and say, but, you know, I want to play just what I like to play, and I want to put my creativity in it, and I want to play to the people and present what I think that they should hear, you know. But if then what you play and what you do also resonates with the crowd, and it's really well set up, and you're telling a good story with music they want to hear in a way that is pleasing to their ears, then probably you're going to be a success as a DJ. But if you're just over there doing what you want to do, then you're in the wrong business, because you are there to please the crowd. You're not there to please yourself. So in that sense, you are a clown, and you are an illusionist, because you're giving people the illusion that they're listening to one thing, but they're actually listening to 2 or 3 or 4 things at the same time, you know. And in all of that, you need to also present a coherent story that people understand. So you cannot go and also build up and build down. So you need to build up to something. You need to build down. You cannot be all the time going 180 kilometers per hour and with no brakes and no build downs and build ups and risers and sometimes a little bit chill out in there also to bring the crowd a little bit down again and then start building up again, you know. And all of that is the whole thing of DJing, you know. So it's not just technically with a mixing table or DJ software and a controller mixing stuff together and think that's going to work, because you need to tell a story. You need to you make it all be coherent and have build-ups and build-downs. And you cannot also be all the time going lo-fi and going 50 miles per hour, or let's call it BPM, you know. You need to build it all a little bit up. You need to build it all a little bit down. You need to pick tracks that some are a very high energy, and then a track afterwards is a little bit more mid or lower energy, you know, to tell a complete story, and to also to let people understand what's really happening. If you always go 180 kilometers per hour, then the crowd is going to, first of all, going to be burned out very quickly. Second of all, they're not going to understand what's going on. That's too much information overload for people to absorb and go also ups and downs in euphoria. That's also a lot what DJing is about also. You need to build it up, and you need to come to a climax and bring your crowd in a state of euphoria. But it's also very necessary that afterwards there's an anticlimax, because everything has a beginning, middle, and an end, you know. And that is probably one of the most difficult things to do with DJing. Not particularly so much beat matching or, you know, and of course picking also tracks that fall a little bit in the same note, in the same tone, you know, so in the same color, let's call it like that. If you would make a painting, you know, then in music it's like that also, you know. So that's why DJs today, we have the luxury of the chameleon disc, where you can see notes in colors and keys in colors, so a B minor and stuff, and you can see that the next track is a little bit close by the same color, to keep on telling a coherent story without jumping from very high notes to the next track. Can be perfectly in BPM synced together, but then if the notes and the keys are completely different, then still you're creating also a very strange jump in octaves and in the pitch and the mood and the color and the notes need to be also a little bit coherent. So and that's one of the most difficult things to do with DJing. So in DJing, I see it like this. And I've done DJing many years. You are there to please the crowd. You're not there to please yourself. And as quickly as they wow you and they praise you, they boo you and they stick the middle finger up to you. And being a DJ is not easy at all, you know. Also, it's very tiring. Also, psychologically, for many hours play. Just try it yourself. Just play for an hour and a half or two. Some music, mix it together. You'll see how tiring that is, you know. So, DJing is always seen as something very easy, but it's really not. You need to really reach your crowd. You need to feel your people. You need to know also what's going on in the particularly genre that you play, what is kicking, what's not kicking, and of course you can always be a little bit experimental and try some different things, but in general you need to be there to please them, and you need to play what they want to hear, and not that you cannot be sometimes a little bit experimental, but then you probably need to go very quickly back to something not experimental, what they're used to, because you can very quickly also shock your crowd, and that can also cause the opposite. And it doesn't mean that you mix bad or that your techniques were bad, but you just shock them by jumping from one thing to the other, or jumping to something that they are not used to, or they're not expecting, and so it's very much a thing of feeling, and many people think it's feeling your music and feeling what's coming through your headphones, but it's actually much more about feeling the crowd and the ambience, and of course there are also things that are then trend orientated. If you're going to start playing things that are really fashion or trendy in the moment, of course going to help you a lot, because that's what people in the moment are listening to, but you can of course be more experimental, and you don't need to be so mainstream and go really trend chasing, but you still need to play what people want to play. So in the end you are an illusionist, because you give people the illusion they're listening to two things, three or four, and you give them the impression they're listening and the illusion that they're listening to one thing, but you need to also your music and your mixes and your vibe needs to resonate with the crowd, and if it doesn't do that, then you're in the wrong business. So, but that's my opinion about DJing and what I think of DJing, that I think it's illusionism, and that in the end you can stand there like Jesus with your hands up in the air, but in the end you are just a clown. You're there clowning. You're there to please them. You're not there to please yourself. So there you go. Until the next time, stay safe, take care. I'll catch you in the next one.